Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Brand Blueprint. And I have none other than my man, my friend, Alex Branning on. So, welcome to the Brand Blueprint. It's great to have you on the show once again.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about personal branding and why I think creating controversy is one of the best things that you can do online to build your brand.
That's awesome. Yeah. So right as I'm dropping in, you said I'm feeling spicy today. So let's talk about it. So take me back though, Brandon. How did we get here? How did you even get started on this online space? How did you get connected with deciding that you wanted to help insurance agents? How did you decide to transition to starting a CRM? Take me back to the beginning.
Yeah, I was 17 years old. I was a nerd who loved to code and I needed to get a job. And so I went on Craigslist and I was like, yo, programmer for hire. And at the time, Craigslist was a lot different. And so people started blowing me up. Well, I didn't know how much to charge. So I looked at what a pro programmer got and they were like 90 an hour. So I'm like, I'll code for 45. I was self-taught. I was good, but I was self-taught, right?
Right.
So $45 an hour at 17 years old. I did not know that that was ridiculous to ask for. I just went for it, right? And my phone started blowing up. That was my career for about 6 years until I met my now wife. So I was a freelance programmer, just coding on the side, loving life, living life by my own terms, my own schedule, making more money than I knew what to do with at the time because I was
Hmm.
just a kid.
Right.
And then, married my wife. We went through some really fun times in business, some hard times in business. I hired a business coach and he was like, hey, I recommend turning this ship around and focusing your talents and your team and your connections not on programming anymore because now you're getting charged by the hour, but instead shifting into a marketing agency. And so for about 2 years I changed and I shifted my entire business model, my education, how I presented myself to clients and what I delivered into marketing. And along the way he told me something, um, and he was like, Alex, every time you get a marketing client, I want you to document what you did for them. I want you to blog about it and I want you to make a video about it. And I was like, okay, didn't really understand why, but I'm a very coachable person. So I just followed directions and I did it. Well, one of the kind of things that just happened, right, was I worked with a local insurance agency down in Southern California. He referred me to one of his friends. They referred me out. So I was working with like an insurance agency a month with marketing campaigns, setting up social media
Hmm.
profiles and all that. Well, let's fast forward. My business was growing. We were doing good. The pandemic happens, Arturo, in 2020.
Yes.
All those blogs that were out there, all that content that I created, that all came to the forefront because now insurance agents were able to sell statewide without restrictions. And it blew my business up. We quadrupled literally overnight from February of 2020 to March. We went from 40 a month to 160 a month. And in the summertime, what I did was I was like, man, this is like just insane. We're trying to use 7 different programs to launch a marketing campaign. We got our ClickFunnels, we got our Aweber. Like we're trying to duct tape everything. I need something for me. And so that's why
Right.
we created Agent CRM. I created a marketing
Yes.
CRM for me, for my clients, for my needs, for my pain points. And then I was like, hey, we should tell other agents what we're doing, that we have this new software for insurance agents. And it exploded. It just happened to be what people were looking for. And I was one of the very first people that set up a Go High Level white label agency, which is super fun. And we that exploded. I wasn't expecting it. My team wasn't expecting it. And 3.5 years later, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of fun stories, but now we're the fastest growing sales and marketing platform for insurance agents, serving over 10,000 users. And that's how we're here today.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And a couple of lessons in there as we're going transitioning and talking about personal branding. One is I'm in the Greatness Factory here, and Coach Bird has created this absolutely amazing environment that you'll be able to witness and partake yourself, and so
Yeah.
you'll kind of feel the energy. But one of the principles that he always talks about is solving problems, and he has a saying that money changes hands when problems are solved.
Yep.
And it sounded like, just like me, that you had a problem for yourself that you went to go and solve. And then once you realize, oh, this worked, that's when you started to share it kind of with the world. And as we're kind of talking and getting into this, they're talking about content. I was doing a podcast yesterday, and for the people who, are nervous or got this mindset issue about how to show up on social media, what you can do is start talking into your younger self for the lessons that you wish you would have known at the stage you are. Because the truth is where you are, there's somebody that is trying to get where you are, and they're a little bit behind you. And so you can talk to the things and the lessons that you've learned, which is entrepreneurship, right? We iterate, we test, we have a hypothesis, we have failure, but that's really feedback. And we keep iterating that process to get where we are. Most times people see a finished product and they think that, it's just the elevator, but it's literally the stairs.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, my journey is so many going up the stairs, a couple steps, falling down the stairs, going back up the steps, And for me, if I was going to talk to my younger self, I would tell my younger self at 17 years old, freaking get a CRM right away so that you can start jotting down the names and numbers of the people that you meet and connect with, because you just never know who is going to get one of your emails, see a newsletter, watch a YouTube video and go, oh my gosh, now that my season has changed, the person receiving the email or watching the video, now what Alex is doing serves what I'm doing, even though maybe before we weren't a fit. But put them on your email list anyway, get them in your CRM, follow up with them. You just never know where that's going to take you. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they wait too dang long to get a CRM and start documenting who they meet and connecting with them on a regular basis.
Yeah, and that's so prevalent now, because what I'm trying to explain to insurance agents is we went from like the technology, like the person to person, in person age, to the technology stage, to the social media age, to now we're in the AI age. And if you haven't even lived in the first world with getting online, putting your business online, now we're in the data and information in the AI stage. And so you need to have a CRM, but you also, if you want to be profitable, you need to learn how to self-generate and get leads and clients for yourself. Because if you don't, that's where all your profit margins are. And what we're going to talk about, there's a lot of liability and risk not knowing where things came from. And if
Yeah.
leads are the lifeblood of the business, right, then and the person who controls the leads controls everything, it makes sense that you should have control over your own lead source so that people know, like, and trust you, right? It's compliant, and so that you can have data, the house to nurture, to re-engage with people, to communicate with them on a daily, to share experience, to educate them. Because there's one thing that we're in the stage now is the information age, is that the best customer is an educated customer.
Yeah. That's a great segue into what's going on in the FCC. Because when I first started, it was all about person to person. My agents that hired me for marketing needed person to person appointments. And then that quickly evolved. And now the FCC is like, stop. You can no longer buy shared leads. You can no longer buy aged leads. You can no longer do a lot of the things that the industry grew up on over the pandemic. We took advantage of a lot of the loopholes in the lead generation business that FCC allowed. Well, now FCC is shutting all that down. So now we have to adapt. We have to make sure that we're doing things in a compliant way. There is still a massive amount of opportunity. Just to recap, if you're watching this and you're like, what the heck did the FCC do? They basically made it so that when a new lead comes in, they have to give you authorization to call, and they have to say, this is what we can talk about on the first call. So they're giving you permission to contact, number one. The second thing is they're giving you permission on what the product is that you can talk about on that first phone call. So if, for example, if I see Arturo's funnel and I opt into Arturo's funnel to ask about life insurance, and then he calls me, which he has permission to do, but then he, instead of talking about life insurance, asks me about health insurance. Now he is now breaking that agreement that I made with him about what he is allowed to call me for. And now me as a consumer can then come at Arturo because he is now legally liable for spam calling. So there's a lot of things going on in the FCC world, but which comes back to owning your lead generation engine.
Well, let's talk about that, because the agent is also going to be like, oh, I'm going to set this up for myself, and then I'm going to like get a little markup on the leads and sell it to my agent and just slide it over in the CRM. Can you do that?
So yes, you can technically do that. So, but here's how to do that in a legally compliant way that's not putting your agent at risk. So you can generate leads under an umbrella. So let's just say agency 123 has a Facebook ad going out for life insurance. I, as the consumer, opt into the agency 123 ad, and I say I'm interested in life insurance. That lead, I do not get contacted by anyone at agency 123 until my contact has been distributed to the person who will be helping me. So let's say you are the person. So I get a text. I say, hey, this is Arturo from Agency 123. You just opted into our Facebook ad about life insurance. I would love to set up a time to talk. Are you available later on today or tomorrow? I can only speak to one person at Agency 123. That lead cannot be distributed or shared within the agency, because if somebody else, after Arturo contacts me, if somebody else contacts me from Agency 123 with that same lead information, I can say, as the consumer, you do not have permission to contact me. I only gave permission to Agency 123 the first time. I did not give them permission to contact me after I said no.
Yeah, and that's so important because as we're moving into this stage, right? As we're sending this out to hundreds of thousands of agents, there's some agents that are old school, right? They're just like, they're waiting to the last minute and they don't feel like they need to be aware of some of this information. For example, like most people waited till the last day for the A2P stuff or after the fact, and now they're
Yep.
frustrated because they've got to wait 2-3 weeks to even get their account looked at. Why is this important to get ahead of this, to understand what's happening, how the market is shifting,
Mhm.
and more importantly, what are some of the penalties that people can incur if they're not aware of what they're doing? And it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
$25,000 is the penalty for when somebody says you're spam calling them. So that is the number. If you're like, what's the worst that can happen? It's a $25,000 penalty.
Mm,
So if they say you're spam calling me and they can prove that you're spam calling them, you will get slapped with a fine. The FCC is not messing around. So 25 grand, that's the penalty. What
wow.
is the cost for not doing this? Besides the fact that you're going to get penalized monetarily, if you are like, you know what, I'm just going to sit back, I'm gonna collect leads on a Google sheet and I'm gonna grow my business, the old school way. You can do that, but just know that you're about to get lapped by kids who are getting used to this technology and using it to their advantage. One of the stories that I love to tell is I was talking to a customer of ours at Agent CRM. He was a young kid in his early 20s, and he's going for volume, and he was running a giveaway funnel and he was calling the people who entered into the giveaway funnel. That's all he was doing. He was spending
Right.
$20 a day generating leads. His closing ratio was absolutely horrendous, Arturo. Even for the people that were scheduling appointments, he was closing 1 in 6. These are people who raised their hand and said, I'm interested. 1 in 6. The dude still was making a sale a day.
Mm,
And I was talking to another agent who's using a Google sheet, been in the business for a long time, a much better agent, a much better salesperson, a much better knowledge about the products. And he was doing things the old school way and struggling. And he's like, I'm getting maybe like 1 or 2 sales a week. And I'm like, that's crazy, because I just talked to a kid who sucks at this and he's doing 1 a day because he's just
wow.
marketing himself and picking up the phone. So what is the cost? The cost is you're losing business that you don't even know that you're losing, because you got other people that are taking advantage of the new ways of marketing and the new tools that they have, like AI, and they're running laps around you in your local market, and you don't even know, because these people aren't picking up the phone when you call, or they're saying, I already got an agent. What you don't know is that agent is some kid way far away who used an ad to target that person, and now he's developing a relationship with them.
Yeah, and a couple things in there. I remember you said this, and I wrote this quote down when you said it, which is also key to get around other high-level thinkers so that you can learn. And so we're always learning from each other and the information that we have, because there's so many things going on, and you only have to focus on the things that protect and help grow your business. So you sometimes you're not aware of everything on your radar. But one of the things that you said at the mastermind the last time you were in Nashville was, AI won't replace you, but it's the agent using AI that will replace you. And when you said that, as the self-proclaimed king of leads, I was thinking, there's agent over here that was buying leads, and they're calling these leads, and they think that the leads are bad because they aren't picking up. That's not what's happening. The name of the game now is speed to lead. This is a contact sport more than ever, and now it's an even higher contact sport where AI can help you to create, engage, contact, and nurture people a lot faster because you're using a system, right? Is what we're talking about here, systemizing your business. And so I'm like, oh yeah, well, the agent using AI is going to get things done more effectively, more efficiently, and faster. And at this point, right, we live in a microwave society that we want things and we want them fast.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing, agents that are just getting started and, they're doing things for volume's sake and they're just, learning on the way. They're breaking eggs along the way. They're doing things that, people would not quote unquote say that's the way to do it, but they're the ones that are breaking records in their IMOs. They're the ones that are crushing it amongst their teams. And the reason is because they're embracing the tools of today and not relying on the things of the past to do it the old school way. Because the old school ways are now, unfortunately, because I love them too, but now the ways of the past are just they're old. I mean, I
Yeah.
was talking to an agent the other day. His name was Steven, and he was like, I was really having a hard time getting myself psyched up and ready to call these old leads. And he was like, wait, I don't actually have to do that anymore. I can just use the schedule bot inside of Agent CRM and unleash it. And he had schedule bot in Agent CRM go after and start conversations with 362 of his past clients. And he was able to generate about 38 leads while he was outside golfing, Arturo.
Wow, yeah, and that's so important. It's like you want to put systems in place, and we talk about this all the time, which is there's money generating activities, and then there's NWA, minimum wage
Mhm.
activities, and a lot of agents and agency owners are focusing and so busy and so burnt out in their business because a lot of their time is focused on minimum wage activities. And now in the AI age, a lot of these things can be simply replaced where you don't even need an actual person to do them, which then increases your productivity and your profitability. And so and all of this just really comes down to leverage, right? You're using leverage. And so one of the pieces that I want to transition into talking about is this big piece of leverage, which is branding and leveraging social media, creating conversations that attract and retain your ideal customer, educate them, allow you to build trust with them. And so I'm curious along your journey, because you've been in the marketing space for a long time. You first start out with, as a new business owner, you need to just like get leads. You need client acquisition system. So you're just focusing on generating revenue. So you just got this client acquisition system. But at a certain point, right, the diminishing returns come and you're spending more on advertising and your profit margins are going down. And you kind of have to make this pivot. And I remember last year, I heard Alex Branning talk about this exact thing. He said he woke up one day and Kylie Jenner was younger than him, and she was a billionaire. And then Conor McGregor and The Rock. And he said that they used their personal brand to leverage that to become wealthy. And that's when Alex Ramosi, excuse me, went all in on personal branding. And he changed the way we market on the internet, the way the videos are made, the way they're structured, all of this. So I'm curious for you, when did it click for you that branding was just as important, if not as important, as just having a client acquisition system in your business?
Yeah, so that was about, 10 years ago when I started, really working on the marketing agency. One of the things that my business coach taught me to do is he was like, "Hey, I need you to get online and start documenting what you're doing." And by me documenting what I'm doing, I'm putting myself out there. And I really hadn't put myself out there online like that before. But one of the things that really helped my personal brand take off, Arturo, is creating controversy online, getting people to talk and debate on my posts, on my videos, really built up my brand in a big way. One of the things that I did that I had a lot of success in before I was the guy in the insurance and marketing space was I was a huge ClickFunnels affiliate in my marketing agency. I was building up my ClickFunnels affiliate business. I won contests, got private coaching from Russell Brunson. The reason why I won a lot of those affiliate contests is I got people talking about online marketing, talking about funnels. And the way I got people talking about it is I would plant my flag in the ground with my strong opinion about something. I'm not creating controversy for controversy's sake, but I'm saying this is what I believe and why I believe it. And then it would get people talking, and then they would follow me, and then they would want to hear more of what I had to say. They would see my successes with the different things. They would see the cool campaigns that I'm running, and they would go, "Man, this is a guy that I want to run with. This is a guy that I want to, have on my team as I build my online business." And I take that same mindset into the insurance and marketing space. I've been focusing on insurance agents, for the last almost 5 years, and
Mhm.
there is so many bad opinions out there. Like, my goodness, there are so many people who are putting their head in the ground and saying agents shouldn't do this, agents shouldn't do that. And I'm like, bro, do you have your eyes open? Are you hearing what the FCC is doing? Like, you're walking agents down a cliff with some of your opinions. They are so dumb. And so who's going to tell them though, Arturo? Who's going to stand up and say, if you do this, here's the result. It's got to be people like us who have audiences and have people that are listening to us. We have to tell them there's a different way of doing things. I was online this morning, right before we were on our podcast, and there was another CEO, a guy who's the co-founder of another CRM, and he was talking about how insurance agents should not get a CRM and they should instead use Google Sheets. Dumb,
Mm,
right? Now, why is he saying that? Well, one of the biggest reasons why you get people saying that people should not use technology because they don't understand it. They're scared of it.
mm,
They want to hold on to what their little bitty palace is, and they don't want people to grow their kingdoms around. They want to keep. They're like, here's what worked for me. I don't want you to get bigger, so I'm going to tell you to do things that are against your self interests because they
yeah.
want to make sure that they stay the king of the castle. So
Yeah.
we need
You know what?
as
That's so
people.
true. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm in a transition with my business where I'm taking a haircut and empowering more agents to have ownership, to be more profitable, to learn and to educate. And one of the things that I'm realizing is that some people are shackled by their own ignorance and they don't want to know, but they also want to complain about the problem, which is they want to be more profitable. They want to grow, but they don't want to do what it takes to understand. Oh, I don't need to understand that social media. Just give me the leads. And I'm like, the bottom
That's the old way.
line. Yes, the old way, exactly. And I'm like, the bottom line is the same lead that you can generate for five, even if it was $10, you're paying 40, 50, even $100 for the exact same lead. If you just took a moment to realize that that's where most of your margins are with self-generating, and this isn't rocket science. Right. So it isn't that hard. I mean, at this point, right, you can go on YouTube and try to figure out how to set up a Facebook ad. But the thing that you have to get good at is creating content, creating controversy, creating conversations online. And that's why the personal branding is important. And this is what I think is holding most people back is they're worried about how to show up on camera, the authority, the imposter syndrome. So I'm curious, did you ever worry about that, as a new market, as a new person coming online, worrying about having confidence, or if you're going to be credible, and how on your journey you were able to navigate that?
Some people are too cheap to get rich, so that's the first
Mm,
thing.
woo,
But
that's a
when it
bomb right
comes
there.
when it comes to my own imposter syndrome, definitely. I mean, I still struggle with it. As your audience gets bigger and bigger, and your platform gets bigger and bigger, you get a lot more arrows thrown your way. So, there's people talking about me online, on a regular basis, and people with the great intentions decide to forward me the conversations that are happening in Facebook groups and Discords and all that fun stuff about
Yeah,
me. And so I just have to, shrug my shoulders and keep doing what I'm doing, knowing that I'm doing the very best that I have with integrity. So, but it could affect you if you let it affect you. So, but for those of you that are starting out, the biggest thing that I would say is to tell your story. Tell your story about why you're doing what you're doing.
mm,
Let people resonate with, hey, I was struggling. I was in a job I didn't like. I decided to start this side hustle because I realized how important insurance was to my family in case something happened at my job and I wasn't able to come home that night. Right.
yes,
Like that's a story. People go, whoa, you got my attention. Right. So, being able to really bring people into your world is a great way to build your personal brand. Another way to build your personal brand is by staking your flag in the ground on things you believe. There's one insurance agent. I'm not saying to do this, but he has made a very successful online brand doing this. Um, he plants his personal flag on the fact that he wanted to create a career where him and his wife could both homeschool their children. And so his personal brand is all about that. He talks negatively about schools. He, talks
mm,
positively about homeschooling, right? That's his thing. Now, I'm not saying to do that, but that's an example of someone planting their flag in the ground. And what happens is a lot of homeschool parents reach out to him for their insurance because they're like, that guy gets me. That guy and I are on the same page, right? Now, the people that reach out and call him probably know another 10 insurance agents that are in their community. But the reason they reach out to him is because that's the guy that planted a flag in the ground in the same way that they have decided to dig their heels in about their personal choice about schooling. Again, one example of a way for one person to embrace an opinion that is polarizing in a way to build their personal brand.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's so important because sometimes the agent's like, well, I haven't gotten started. Have I missed the train? Right. And I can remember, like I didn't really go all in on the personal branding until this time last year. In January of 2023, I had 911 followers on Instagram. Right now, I got like 90,000. Now, most people may not have a meteoric rise like that, but I was very intentional about that. And then one of my posts just went viral, and it like got pushed to like 70 million accounts. But it was the
Boom.
intentionality, which is just like business. You don't know which client, which way you're going to go is going to have the exponential growth, but it's like everything. It's long obedience in the same direction. And so if you're an agent out there, it's like, oh, I don't want to post content or this or that. It's like, what is the value of having a personal brand? How is it a resource for you? How has it impacted your business? How does it impact you getting in rooms, relationships? What are some things that you've noticed that has been impactful from creating your own personal brand?
People know what I know based on what I tell them that I know. People cannot know
Mm,
what I know if I don't say what I know, right? Which is a word salad of saying, I need to create content saying, this is where I shine, this is my expertise, so that then people who are looking to learn about those things, whether it's AI, CRMs, etc., they go, I think I saw Alex talk about something about this, right? So, but it starts with creating content, putting a ton of value into the marketplace. One of the things that I used to do when I first started, Russell Brunson has this saying in Expert Secrets. He says, if you do a webinar a week, you'll never go broke. And so
mm,
I read that in Expert Secrets and I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes sense to me. I'm going to start doing a webinar a week. Right. And so the webinars that I was doing was around the marketing campaigns. And I would come up with things like, okay, here's what I'm going to talk about. Here's what I'm going to share. That was how I built my personal brand, was doing these webinars a week, just sharing knowledge, sharing value of what I'm learning. I was consuming so much content, and I was able to then deliver the same education, but in the Alex way, right? So it really helped me build my brand. And I got so good at that. I built such an audience from doing that I started doing a webinar a day. A lot of
wow.
the same content, but I was like, I just got to start doing this over and over. I had so many people filling rooms asking me for content, asking me for education, asking me for cheat sheets. So I started doing a webinar a day. Well, then when March 2020 hit and insurance agents were looking to me for help, I started
Mm,
doing a webinar every 30 minutes, 5 days a week for 12 hours a day, selling my marketing services, doing
mm,
webinars. Just ding, ding, ding. Do you know how many webinars that is in a 6-month period, Arturo? We were tired, man. We were
yeah.
tired, but we were selling so many products because we were putting ourselves in a room where we could serve many people at one time. Here's why I tell that story. It is about creating a space where you, as the insurance agent, can deliver value in a way that protects your time, where you're able to deliver a very specific piece of knowledge or answer a specific pain point, and then put the person that you're educating in a place where they are now ready to make a buying decision.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're building a personal brand and you are not putting yourself in a position to profit, then your efforts are not working. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's like, Alex, I've been posting online. I got a Substack. I got a list of 200,000 people. I don't know what to sell them. I'm like, bro, you did it wrong, because you need to start with, what am I going to, at the end of the day, monetize my list with so that I can provide for me and my family, not how am I going to build an email list of folks that just want to talk to me about certain things, right? So,
Yes.
but the good news is, as an insurance agent, you know what you're going to sell them. You're going to sell them an insurance product that helps protect them and their family. So create content around that. And if you're like, I don't know what content to create, great. Start with a Q&A, and then take the questions that were asked in the Q&A and create reels out of those, and just answer
Yeah.
the questions, post the content out there, and just see what happens. So creating content is, there is always going to be someone that resonates with how you deliver the education about the piece of knowledge that you're sharing. There
Yeah.
are so many people who talk about marketing and insurance agents, so many, right? And there's a lot of great people that have CRMs that serve insurance agents. We're not the only one. But the reason why we're growing so fast and people resonate with us is because I put myself out there and they resonate with how I deliver the content and how I deliver the product. But if I don't put myself out there, then people don't know about agent CRM, and then they don't find me. In the same way as the insurance agent, you need to talk about why you're doing what you're doing, share it from your point of view, and you'll attract people who are like you or resonate with you to serve with you. There is 285 million people in the United States of America. And I don't know the last numbers, Arturo, but what I heard before was only 11% of them have life insurance. So
Mm.
it is not too late. It is just getting started, and you can ride the wave by using the technology and the tools and the social media platforms that are out there. Or you can choose, because it is a personal choice, you can choose to take things slow, one day at a time, doing things the old school way, and watch as people who are less talented than you, less skilled than you, lap you simply because they decide to use a tool that embraces today's technology.
Yeah, so true. And a couple lasting points, and then we'll get you to close us out. What you said about the content. So it's like, okay, what types of content do I need to? What can I post? Well, there's so many conversations that you're having on a daily basis. That's one to one that you can start to have those ahead of time to educate your customers, right? And we just take a lesson from Amazon and the most successful company in history. And what's the one thing, if you go on their website right now and just whatever item it is the first one that pops up for you, because everybody's different. If you click on it and you scroll, there's so much information on there for you to look at, to engage. It's more information than anybody could ever think of. So what does Amazon know about consumers? The best customer is an educated customer. So what they're doing is ahead of time, they've already answered every single question that a person could even think of and more. So if you're an insurance agent, you could handle the myths about the policy or the product that you offer, the most common objections that you get, that you're frustrated every single day. You can hop off and share and enlighten people so that your next ideal customer can consume some of your content. And now when you hop on a call with them, they won't have that objection because you've handled that ahead of time. Also, the misconceptions that most people have about insurance, why you got into insurance, how insurance has impacted your business, your journey, what you're going through in your personal life, because we're not just an insurance agent. An insurance agent is just one piece of who you are as a person. And I think that sometimes people are afraid to show up as their authentic self online, and that they need to be this type of personality. But in this day and age, with everything on social media, we're looking for authenticity and people that we can trust. So you have to trust that showing up as your authentic self is something that people are going to accept. And that's what we're actually looking for.
Absolutely. One of the things that I saw, I'm connected to a lot of agents online, and I saw this woman do a series of reels about, I just learned this about this life insurance product. I just learned this about IULs. I just learned this as I was going through my classes. Like, she's sharing, I just learned this. I just learned this. And
Mm.
people are resonating with it because they also don't know. She's not setting herself up as the expert. Maybe that's because of imposter syndrome. Maybe that's just her angle. But she was sharing in the moment. Here's what I just learned about this insurance product. Did you guys know that you can add a child as a rider to your life insurance policy, and like for only like $2 a month? Like, she's sharing this, and guess what's happening, Arturo? People are like,
What?
oh my God, like I need to reach out. She's not setting herself up as the expert. She's just sharing in the moment as she's learning things. In the same way, you can answer questions, on a reel that people are asking you. One of my reels that took off in the last 90 days and got almost 1 million views was me making a short reel about the FCC changes that are happening related to AI calling. And that reel went viral quick. It was shared all over the place. People are still talking about it because I broke down what happened in the Alex way of explaining how to take action. It was in the moment. It was unplanned. There's a lot of New York street noise in the background, but I did it. I posted it, and it took off. And so it's not about making content that is, super planned. It's about making content where you're like, you know what? I think there's something here. I'm going to post it and then just kind of see what happens, and let the algorithm take its place. Let your audience see what you got to say about the different things. And then, you're building your personal brand one brick at a time. So, normally, or in the past, we saw empires built brick by brick, but now our online agents are building their empires click by click.
Yeah, that's so good. And one of the things that just made me think about was Myron Golden turned me on to this guy called Daniel Priestley. And one of the books that I just read was called Key Person of Influence. And Daniel Priestley has this assertion that income follows assets. And so that really just got me thinking a lot. It's like, assets. Okay, what do we know about assets? Is asset is something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. So I'm like, oh, well, people love real estate because, right, it's an asset. You can invest into one, right, and then you can either pay the mortgage or you can rent it out and have somebody else to pay the mortgage, right, and then it appreciates, right, and so it can turn into passive income. Well, I'm like, oh, well, my social media and my personal brand and my Instagram really more valuable than the $1 million house I'm building because it actually puts money in my pocket. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so that's an asset. What else is an asset? Creating content is a digital attention asset. So if I post that a video today, it's more, my Instagram is more valuable than it was yesterday because I just added an asset to it. So essentially, every single day I can give myself a raise because I can add new assets to it so that it then could appreciate, which is
Absolutely.
very interesting, right?
We should do like a free challenge for our audiences and walk them through like how to set all this stuff up, because what we're talking about is not technically challenging. Most of it is mindset. It's about going, okay, what are the first steps? We should do like a 3-day challenge and
Yeah.
just walk people through this. But what you're talking about is right. And for you watching this right now and you're like, am I late? Did I miss the game? Or you're watching this and you're well established. I want to encourage you to continue building your asset library of your social media content one at a time. Just put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. One tool I want to share, I'm not affiliated with them, but they're amazing, is called repurpose.io.
Mm.
Repurpose.io. And what that does is it listens as you post new content, whether it's on Instagram or what have you, and it reshares that content on other social media platforms for you without you having to do the manual work. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because, like I post a reel on Instagram and then repurpose.io grabs that video, downloads it, and then reposts it on my LinkedIn, on my YouTube, and other places. And so by me taking one action and posting it on Instagram, repurpose.io builds assets on other four addresses, if we're using the real estate analogy. And so it builds and builds and builds. I had somebody, I don't personally get on LinkedIn. I'm not a fan of LinkedIn. It's a lot of spam messages. Anyway, I had somebody reach out and say, Alex, I've been following you on LinkedIn for a long time. You are so active on LinkedIn. You post all the time. And I actually do not post all the time. My tools post for me all the
Yes,
time.
yes, yes.
But because I have those tools in place, now people are finding me. So that's, just even Alex Branning is still using tools to, duplicate himself. So yeah, it's something that every agent can do.
Yeah, and that's so awesome, right? It's, again, it comes back to leverage, right? The thing that the old school agent has to understand, that the new school agent is going to eat their lunches because of omnipresent. And
Yep.
leveraging social media is so that you can say something once and it can be reached by many, and then the AI allows you to be omnipresent, multi-channel, multi places, so that you can show up everywhere. So if somebody's watching this and they're like, okay, who is Alex Branning? Who exactly is it that he helps? What exactly is it that he do? I'm kind of not sure. I see him online talking about marketing, talking about sales, talking about personal branding, talking about insurance. Who is it that Alex Branning helps? And then if they are interested in whatever you have going on, where can they connect, engage, and reach out to you for more information?
Yeah. So Alex Branning, I eat, breathe, and sleep insurance, marketing, and technology. I founded Agent CRM about almost 4 years ago now. You can go there at agent-crm.com. We serve over 10,000 insurance agents. We help you with your sales and marketing. We have a full marketing team building out marketing assets and releasing new ones almost every single week. And we're here to help you automate and accelerate your business. I'm also investing in some new fun products as well that are out there to help you. Some new tools. Quick Meet is out there, a new recording platform built for insurance agents. You can go to it at quickmeet.online. And then by the time this is posted, our new tool will be live. It is called iQuote. iQuote.live. It is a free insurance quoting engine, connects directly to your CRM and gives you live quotes for your final expense and life insurance products. But iQuote is one of the things that I'm really excited about because it helps agents set up multiple sales per appointment. You got to go see it to see what I'm talking about. Go to iQuote.live.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Alex, it's definitely a pleasure to hang with you and connect and learn, but also just to fellowship and share. And I can say that, with showing up for that authenticity, one of the things I loved about you the most is that you cared about insurance agents and your process and your product with integrity just as much as I did. And so it's hard to find that these days. So it's very, very awesome to be able to connect with you and engage. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in April at the mastermind here in the Greatness Factory.
Right on, man. Let's do it. Thank you, Arturo. I love being on the show, and I love going to your masterminds. We got a lot of fun agents in the room, influencers in there. I learned so much. So thank you for inviting me again.
Awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for hopping on the Brand Blueprint podcast. And again, if you want to learn more about this AI, this technology, the CRM, even if you're just curious about some of this FCC stuff, you can follow Alex Branning, as well as if you need a CRM, if you're an agent or an agency owner and you're trying to figure out this A2P thing, you're trying to figure out how to be compliant, go to agent-crm.com. All right, we'll see you in the next podcast.